You didn't come upon this by chance. This moment was intended for you. Have you sensed it deep down? That pull, push, and voice telling you you're here for something bigger. This is a wake-up call. You have been selected not to just exist, but to step into your destiny and claim the life you are meant to live. Open your heart. Trust the process and prepare. Your trip is about to start. Let this be the moment when everything changes. This kind of love refuses to accept half-truths or superficial ties. It shatters the illusions of comfort and reveals the raw substance of the psyche. It comes not to lull or comfort, but to awaken, dismantling myths and pushing limits in ways that leave no space for complacency. It is not a peaceful, transformative country, but rather an unstoppable force, a flood of power that reshapes all it touches. This love flows like an unwavering river, clearing the path for honesty to emerge, a guiding light amid the turmoil and uncertainty. Such love is unyielding in its brightness and intensity. It casts light on the shadows, revealing not just the route ahead, but also the unsaid truths inside those who meet it, leaving them reconsidering the foundations on which they have constructed their lives. This light does not discriminate. It shows the burning emotions hidden deep beneath what some see as criticism or disgust, which is frequently jealousy in disguise, a mirror of their own unrealized potential. Their pain does not stem from hate. It's the awakening of a hidden need, a voice in their soul that says, "Why not me?" However, this love was never intended to be diminished for the benefit of others' comfort. The sun does not soften its shine to spare the unprepared, and you have not been picked to conceal your light or diminish your truth. You are a living example of grace and bravery, inspiring others to face their own limits. Your goal is not to satisfy or soothe, but to stimulate introspection, to awaken those who are content with mediocrity, and to remind the world of what is possible when people embrace their full potential. Your path is not about bearing the burden of others' suffering. Their issues with your light are theirs to resolve. You are not here to remove their self-imposed boundaries, but to embody the freedom they are afraid to claim. Allow them to deal with the questions your presence raises. Allow them to reconsider their decisions, their borders, and the walls they've constructed around their own souls. You were picked for transformation rather than conformity. To ignite, thought to shake up the present quo and demonstrate what occurs when the divine summons someone ready to disrupt and rebuild. This route is difficult because individuals who dare to disrupt the standard are constantly met with opposition. However, it is through opposition that change starts. The bravery to love completely, live truly, and shine unashamedly is the greatest gift you can give, not as an act of defiance, but as a call to others to rise in the face of criticism and resistance. Remember this? You were never intended to settle. Your responsibility is not to bend, but to stand, not to hide, but to shine, and in doing so, exemplify the transformational power of unwavering love. If no one is disturbed by your presence, maybe you are underestimating the power inside you. The love you radiate is not subtle. It requires recognition. It elicits responses, whether of praise or discomfort. Your goal is to stand out from the crowd rather than blend in, to challenge and enlighten. Let them whisper. Let them ponder. Let them face their own anxieties. You are not here to darken yourself to lessen their discomfort. Like a towering mountain, untouched by the wind, you are supposed to stand steadfast and let your greatness show. So emerge boldly because you are unabashedly powerful, and your sheer being will disturb the walls of complacency, reawakening people who have long been asleep. You were not designed to shrink. You were made to soar, to serve as a light of divine love and purpose, inspiring others to awaken as well. This love you have is not passive. It is a power that transforms. It reveals not just beauty and power, but also the anxieties and regrets of others around you. Its intensity acts as a mirror, compelling others to see their limits. It does not merely inspire. It frustrates individuals who feel tiny in its presence, and they often respond with jealousy camouflaged as criticism. They try to replicate your essence, Yet their replication lacks the honesty that distinguishes you. Their efforts are evident. Their goals are evident. Their acts expose their vulnerabilities more than they know. They want to destabilize what they do not possess. However, their attempts just strengthen your unshakable base. Their plans are based on desperation, not strength. They attempt to sow confusion where you have created clarity, hoping to drown your light in a sea of turmoil. But their clamor cannot drown out the reality of who you are. Their efforts to disturb you fail as your resistance rises. They strive to undermine your confidence by fortifying themselves with the precise energy they want to undermine. Instead, they accentuate your strengths, a strength that does not comply yet remains stable under demand. It is a divinely aligned foundation that cannot be dismantled. This road you are on is not one of compromise or compliance. It is a road built on sincerity and endurance. The love you represent cannot be diluted to meet the demands of others. It defies established standards, challenges mediocrity, and demands reform. Their emotions, whether angry, envious, or critical, are only reflections of their own unrealized potential. The more vocal their resistance, the more obvious it becomes that your light is a force they cannot ignore. You are not intended to alleviate their agony. You've been picked to ascend to demonstrate what's possible when divine purpose takes root in a life. Their comments, actions, and efforts to knock you down simply reinforce the truth. You are impenetrable because your foundation is beyond their grasp. Their frustrations and struggles are not your responsibility to fight. Allow them to grapple with what they perceive in you. It is not your responsibility to change their viewpoint or dispel their delusions. Your duty is to live completely, walk freely, and continue to develop into an incredible creature you were always intended to be. Every effort to defame you demonstrates the strength they lack. Their hatred reflects their failure to grasp what they perceive in you. But that's not your business. Your duty is to continue going ahead. Let their troubles with your light fade into the background as you embrace your destiny with unyielding commitment. Remember, opposition is not a threat. It confirms that you are on the route you were meant to pursue. Stay the path and let their acts to fall away. Nothing they do can lessen the brilliance you represent. Do not hold back. Accept your potential. Subscribe now, and let's ignite the future together. When your heart is overflowing with infinite love, it's time to let it spread. Each of us is a unique thread in the magnificent tapestry of creation, woven with meaning and purpose. The world is waiting for your contribution, and the things you bear are meant to be shared, not hoarded. You were not brought here to live tiny under the guise of protection, but rather to courageously enter into a position that coincides with a larger design. Some threads in this elaborate pattern gleam with strength, but others tear and fail to meet the criteria of authenticity. Some will hide their intentions under polished exteriors, giving a misleading warmth that conceals deeper currents of discontent. Their small incursions are not unintentional, but deliberate, seeking to sow seeds of doubt in the fruitful soil of your faith and commitment. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace surround you today. I am here to remind you of a timeless truth. Our lives are solidly planted in God's divine design, unaffected by the transient worries of the world. According to the Bible, give, and it will be given to you in abundance, crushed down, shaken together, and dumped into your lap. Luke 638. Like the enormous oak tree, our foundation is safe in His truth, and every act of trust we take is bolstered by His strength. When you choose to donate today, you will be able to contribute to the outpouring of blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button with a $100 contribution, be certain that this seed of generosity will be returned to you. Aid multiplies in ways that cannot be quantified. It's not just about donating. It's about embracing God's promise of wealth and marching courageously in trust. These people do not confront openly, but rather manipulate discreetly, building tales that discredit their whispers and weaken trust. As a result, uncertainty, like weeds sprouting through a meticulously managed garden, shrouds their efforts in manipulation and is born not of strength, but of insufficiency. Their anarchy is not brilliance. It's desperation, and their tactics demonstrate a tremendous incapacity to build. They live on uncertainty, mistaking chaos for strength. However, their machinations fail in the face of unyielding clarity. Truth, like morning rising through the darkest night, reveals all shadows. Its presence demolishes even the most meticulously built untruth. You have been purified by difficulties and strengthened by your experience. Be resilient in the face of falsehood. Their efforts to dull your light only emphasize the brilliance of your honesty. Their bogus partnership is flimsy, like sandcastles against the flood, and cannot withstand the weight of your honesty, even as they attempt to twist the story. Their remarks fail to obscure the plain fact of your mission. Your intuition, honed by experience and infused with divine knowledge, acts as your compass. Pay attention to the subtle changes, discordant tones, fake grins, and inconsistencies in their compliments. These are the indicators of intentions that do not match yours. Trust the inner voice that prompts you to distinguish, to step back when something seems wrong, and to remain steadfast in your objective. Their acts, however disturbing, cannot change your fate. The chapters of your life are engraved with purpose. Each page is a tribute to the task you have decided to do. Let their moans and efforts to destabilize fade away like echoes in an empty room. You're not here to decrease your vibration to match theirs. Instead, you rise, reminding the world that sincerity is the strongest force of all. Stand firm in your mission and unwavering in your truth. Their jealousy and insecurities reflect your accomplishment rather than your failure. The strength they seek to dismantle is the same foundation they admire but cannot duplicate. Allow your journey to be a tribute to the power of constant illumination, a beacon that shines not for approval, but because it was always intended to. You are here to inspire, challenge, and accomplish a mission much greater than they can realize. Allow them to fight with their shadows while you continue to march confidently into your light. You're intuitive, not suspicious. The gift of clarity helps you to navigate your path with precision, exposing those who come with ulterior goals under the appearance of helping. They may test your determination, but your limits are not barriers. They serve as truth filters, preventing dishonesty while enabling sincerity to thrive. Establishing them is a gesture of love for your tranquility and purpose. Cutting down access to people who want to cause damage is not a malicious act. It is an expression of self-esteem. Allow them to observe from a distance while you continue to ascend. They cannot achieve what is beyond their reach. You are not meant to fade into mediocrity. Your path exemplifies persistence, an example of success despite treachery and distraction. Their efforts to disturb you only strengthen your resolve. While others struggle with uncertainty, you flourish with clarity. You are not only designed to survive their plans, but to thrive in the aftermath. This is the time to stand steady, defying their manipulations and petty games, knowing that your mission extends well beyond their restricted perspective. Each problem they bring becomes a tool for honing your determination, a crucible for refining your strength. The barriers you face are not threats. They act as catalysts for change. Prepare to unleash your might. Subscribe today, and we'll take the first step together. There is no need to interact with their mess. The truth is unshakable and has no rivals. Their attempts to antagonize you are useless. When confronted with your unflappable demeanor, let their words fall quiet. Their plans crumble on their own. You are too precious to waste your time and energy on people who do not value you. Maintain your focus on the legacy you are creating and the goal you are achieving. It's not about proving them incorrect. It is about sticking to your course and refusing to be swayed by distractions. Their efforts to undercut you show more about their weaknesses than your flaws. Their acts are motivated by fear rather than strength, and their false narratives cannot change the reality about who you are. The gift of letting go is one you offer to yourself by releasing what no longer serves you, understanding that forgiveness is not for their benefit, but for your own. Their misgivings and critiques are not yours to bear. You are meant to rise above their cacophony, to embody the fortitude that has been handed down to you through every adversity you have faced. Even if their acts hurt, they cannot halt your progress. Lies may last temporarily, but they inevitably crumble beneath the weight of reality. Continue ahead, knowing that each struggle, hardship, and moment of uncertainty is sculpting you into the person you were destined to be. Your strength is not accidental. It's a legacy, and you are the live embodiment. Stay true to your mission. Trust in the way ahead, and let their attempts to dissolve into insignificance. You're here to rise, not be rattled. No weapon created against you shall succeed, and every mouth spoken against you in judgment will be condemned. Isaiah 5417. Like a tree planted near the river. You can't be relocated. What is destined for you will find you, unaffected by the plots of others or the clamor of the world. Your light shines not to get favor, but because it is who you are. Let their distractions go. Your journey is predetermined by divine purpose. Move forth confidently, knowing you are directed and unstoppable. However, their attempts are meaningless when compared to the clarity you possess. These strategies, albeit subtle, become startlingly obvious when seen through the lens of discernment. Your intuition is a gift store, unfailing and ever-present, trusted to lead you through the cloud of deception, proving that traps cannot capture a mind grounded in truth. Their tactics cannot shake a person's heart. Fortified by purpose, each effort to derail you simply strengthens your determination, confirming your concentration and driving you onward. You owe no explanation to those who want to extinguish your light. Their behaviors are only reflections of their own anxieties. Their efforts to demolish what they cannot construct. Allow their words to fall to the ground. Their schemes collapse beneath the weight of their dishonesty. You are not here to fight on their terms, but to prevail with elegance and power. Your journey exemplifies resilience, a reminder that life cannot be overpowered by passing gloom. Move onward, unshaken, guided by the peaceful confidence that your mission is yours alone. No power can take it from you. Your quest to greatness begins here. Subscribe today, and we'll make it happen. Boundaries are bridges that keep your inner world in harmony rather than barriers that alienate you. They define the place in which your tranquility exists and guarantee that only honesty is permitted to enter. Those who live on deception and strife have no right to this shelter. Remove them access to your energy with determination, not hesitancy. Protecting your well-being is a kind of self-respect, not animosity. To allow them to be chaotic is to give up clarity and lose some of your attention to the din. Resilience comes not just from standing steady, but also from understanding the subtle patterns of those who strive to weaken your resolve. Deception seldom comes with fanfare. It sneaks in silently, disguised as concern or gentle probing. These forces use trust as a weapon of control, twisting it to further their goals. Their power, however, fades the instant you detach. Refusing to engage in their games limits them the ability to influence your story. Awareness of their strategies reduces their leverage, rendering them weak in the face of your insight. Transformation often entails hardship, but the internal fights people endure are not yours to fight. Their opposition to change stems from their fear of being left behind, not your merit. What is no longer useful to them? True progress requires the bravery to abandon the familiar and embrace the new. For them, the comfort of stasis competes with the possibility of change, resulting in upheaval. They may crave for the steadiness your presence provides, yet are hesitant to embrace sincerity. You are not responsible for resolving this internal conflict. They must decide whether to stick to their habits or embrace the pain of progress. Whatever their choice, your approach is unshakable. The solidity of your limits, guided by purpose and unaffected by indecision, is a monument to your self-awareness and a reflection of the importance you put on your work. The unwillingness to adapt is a storm they must weather on their own, and your responsibility is not to anchor them, but to remain strong on your own path. Allow them to see the beauty of a life lived with purpose and clarity as you continue to go ahead, unbound and unshaken. The first flutter of doubt is like a whisper borne by the wind, scarcely visible at first, but it soon turns into a storm blowing through their minds, leaving devastation in its wake. Standing in your presence forces them to face the darkness they've been avoiding for so long. You are an unavoidable mirror, a reminder of the power and potential they've hidden under layers of dread. Their thoughts whirl, one feeding into the next, accentuating every imperfection and exacerbating every pause. They begin to question themselves at every step, lost in a maze of self-imposed limitations. What if I am unable to rise to this challenge? What if I am not enough? These questions circle indefinitely, caught in an unseen web of ambiguity. They withdraw, believing that the comfort of distance would soothe their anxiety. Instead of finding tranquility, they learn that turning away just strengthens the urge. The bond they feel is unbreakable, tethered not by reasoning, but by something deeper, primordial, and irrefutable. You are the light of the planet. A city located on a hill cannot be concealed. Matthew 514. Your presence brightens everything around you in the same way that the rising sun does. It's not too loud or powerful. It just exists, undeniable and unwavering. Those who meet it are unable to look away. Your sincerity inspires change, not via demands, but by demonstrating what is possible. Despite your absence, the imprint of your truth pushes others to overcome fear and reach their full potential. This relationship is more than just a transient infatuation. It's a revolutionary firestorm that reshapes all it touches. You are not only a source of inspiration, you are a real example of the power of totally embracing life and living it boldly. For them, this relationship is a confrontation with the restraints that have held them back. Fearful patterns, sluggish habits, and detrimental influences are exposed for what they always were: delusions. Choosing this bond necessitates breaking free, leaving behind the familiar comforts that have held them stagnate and venturing bravely into the unknown. It is not a decision taken lightly, but with the realization that freedom awaits on the other side of bravery. Every stride forward eliminates hesitation, cutting links with entities that no longer belong in their lives. This isn't a compromise. It's an unwavering thrust toward metamorphosis. It is a time of reckoning that comes like thunder, breaking the illusion of safety and exposing the naked, obvious reality. The question they're asking isn't just about connectivity. It is about choosing honesty over pretense, depth over superficiality, and overcoming the worries that had previously crippled them. Now explodes the fires of expansion, eradicating the hesitations that had held them back. Their purpose is to rebuild trust, something they do not take lightly. Words are substituted by deeds, hollow motions with genuine effort. If time or distance has separated you, they take deliberate steps forward, understanding that this link is about more than just surviving. It is about flourishing together on a solid basis of truth. Their sacrifices, whether harmful attachments, old ways of thinking, or behaviors that are no longer useful, become acts of release. The route is not easy. It requires vulnerability, resilience, and an uneasy, erratic devotion to honesty. However, along this trip, they uncover a self that has been waiting all along, a version of oneself free of fear. This relationship redefines what is important, urging people to accept honesty even when it requires fortitude. They come to realize that the difficulties they experience are not barriers, but rather opportunities. Each difficulty requires a greater alignment with who they are supposed to be. These adversities serve as improvements to their mission rather than tests of their value. What was intended to be cannot be lost. It'll find its way. Undeterred by time or opposition, it progresses inexorably toward completion, arriving precisely when preparedness meets opportunity. Amidst the turmoil of uncertainty and clamor, they understand that patience is not the same as passivity. It is preparedness. Trusting the unfolding process becomes their guiding concept, freeing them from the urge to control every event. They discover that their power rests in their honesty, a light that refuses to be turned down to make others comfortable. Opposition and jealousy become indicators of agreement, not aversion. These problems do not erode their commitment. They encourage it by reminding them of the incredible route they are on. Allow them to march ahead, firm in their mission and unshaken by the noise around them. Your presence continues to inspire, not with force, but with the gentle power of truth. What is destined for you cannot be prevented, and as you progress through each challenge, you will become a force that cannot be ignored. Every challenge shapes you into an impenetrable beacon of perseverance and change. This bond is not a transitory one. It is a lifelong exploration of the remarkable. This is not about gaining acceptance or seeking validation. What is meant for you cannot be postponed, lessened, or derailed. It will always reach you on schedule. You are unrelenting, uncompromising, and memorable, a force that acts with conviction and purpose. Let your path serve as a tribute to the power of perseverance and sincerity, not as a call to applause, but as evidence of what a life anchored in truth may accomplish. Speak the truth openly, not to get praise, but to demonstrate your perseverance and encourage others to realize their full potential. The route you create is distinctively yours, and its brightness is obvious. As you go with purpose, you generate momentum that attracts others, not because you urge others to follow, but because the clarity of your mission shines like a light. Trust that your energy will spread outward, sparking change wherever it touches. Allow the power of your deeds and the purity of your aim to lead the way, knowing that your effect stems from your unwillingness to compromise and your dedication to the remarkable.